access furthered the intended fraud. I think I read this. The defendant's illegal access of the protected computer must further a fraud. Accessing a computer without authorization, or more often accessing authorized access, can further a fraud in several ways. For example, the element is met if the defendant alters or deletes records on the computer and then receives something of value from the individual who relies on the accuracy of those altered and deleted records. That's all they do. That is all they do. I'm telling the people that I'm dealing with right now that the links could be switched out, the information could be switched out. I'd rather give you the physical copies because this stuff could be switched out, and that might be the reason why people are just sitting on stuff, and because you're dead guilty in all these cases. And I could pursue more, but in the cases I could pursue more, and you dead guilty, and I got the proof of your dead guilt. Like, but I'm just trying to go back to work. I'm just trying to live a normal life. I'm not, and I don't want to be compared to people that worked for 23 years while they were pursuing a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit. I don't want to be compared to people that had full-time jobs while they pursued legal matters. Like, I don't care if your whole family is living off some ruling, plus you were already spoiled. Like, don't do that, because I've never been spoiled. I don't appreciate you running around telling people I was spoiled, because all y'all were, including B. Like, his whole stepmom family spoils him. That's not a fucking, and his mother-in-law spoil him. That's not a slanderous shit, and I don't really give a fuck about you spoiling whoever you spoiled. Never run around this earth telling people I was spoiled to make things harder for me so your spoiled ass can laugh, because you haven't been through the things I've been through. Everybody around me that was around me at one point know what I've been through. You have not been through what I've been through. This element is met if the defendant altered a credit reporting agent's records to improve the credit rating of his co-conspirator, who then used their improved credit ratings to make purchases. The defendant used the employer's computer to credit amounts for returned merchandise to his personal credit card. The element is met if a defendant obtains information from a computer and then later uses the information to commit fraud. For example, the defendant accesses a telephone company's computer without authorization, obtaining calling card numbers, and then use those calling card numbers to make free long-distance telephone calls. This element is met if the defendant uses a computer to produce falsified documents that are later used to defraud. For example, the defendant used a lottery terminal to produce backdated tickets with winning numbers and then turned those tickets in to collect lottery prizes. Now, all this stuff has been done to me in some way. Like, there's people saying, I don't know how true this is, but there's people saying that they got I've seen people that look like my parents walking around, but I know they're not my parents. But people are also saying that they got a power of attorney. And like I've explained before, I used the power of attorney while I was incarcerated. Now, while I'm home, if you do stuff, and this is in the power of attorney, and you can look it up even if it's not written in, if somebody who has a power of attorney is abusive or they are doing stuff that's not in the best interest of the person that they're supposed to be the representative, proxy, whatever for, then that's fraud, and they get put in jail. If you have a home health aide, if you have a residential aide and they're stealing from you, if they're coercing you, forcing you to do stuff, if they're making you do sexual acts, if they're using it, because not everybody's a senior, if they're using seniors' credit cards, and the senior, it might start out with, can you just pay this bill? I can't see. Can you go to the store? I can't see, and I have mobility problems. Just take, you know what I mean? And you're not checking your joint. These motherfuckers can wipe you out. And believe me, this is nothing I haven't witnessed at some level. You get what I'm saying? And have a knowledge of outside of being around these individuals. Like, I know from personal life with personal people. I know people that, like I said, I was in jail. And I say that just because, like, people right now that are stalking me are assuming that I'm talking about them. But fuck it, if you guilty, you guilty. I'm trying to keep the peace so I can move forward, but fuck it, you guilty. Y'all niggas guilty, and y'all not gangsters. Y'all abuse vulnerable populations. I'm getting tired of y'all. The courts have found an increasingly wide range of activities punishable under the mail and wire fraud statutes. Let me read that again. The courts have found an increasingly wide range of activities punishable under the mail and wire fraud statutes. Listing cases covered under mail and wire fraud statutes include false insurance claims. I've witnessed that. Cheating investors. False odometer reading schemes. I knew about that. I had an ex that put me D, and I don't know what the fuck these niggas is doing, but I'm pretty sure you guilty. They haven't bragged about that, but it's a reason why my house be shaking for no reason. Expensive. They bragged about other stuff, and I was recording myself in court them. So, like, I'm just waiting to present my evidence. This is statutes. I'm telling you about things I've gone through. I'm not really mentioning names. I don't think I've mentioned any name except for B today for the first time, and that has nothing to do with what I'm going through. That just has something to do with knowing that, like, even though he come from what some might say the ghetto, it ain't the projects, it's the ghetto, some might say. That nigga more spoiled than a lot of niggas. Like, homies spoiled that nigga. Now, I don't ever hate. Like, I've always noticed it. I don't ever hate. Like, that's not how I was raised. So, I don't ever hate. Like, it might sound like hate. No, it's just basic knowledge that you stupid. You wiping this nigga ass and he able-bodied now. I don't give a fuck if that's what you like to do. Expansively to cover not only other people, ex-girlfriends spoil him. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it for yourself, nigga. Like, I don't give a fuck. He told me for years why he loved people. Because you do shit for him. Everybody he talked about being in love with or loving, it's because you did something for him. It's not a surprise to me. It's not a surprise to him. And I don't know if you stalk my page or you stalk the conversations and just do what you do, get confused, and start lying. Well, let me tell you. Expansively to cover not only schemes to defraud individuals of money or property, but also schemes to defraud individuals of intangible interest and rights. Employers' interest in confidential information. Clients' rights to individual loyalty of attorney. Yeah. Cybercrimers. I can't even get an attorney to help, but I can read statutes, morons.